as Americanteers, we all know this, you know, that we have to keep building friendships. It's difficult for me too. I mean, really, it's hard to build a friendship even for me. Um, but that is one of the principles is coming together and it's through even small talk. That's, you know, even having small talk with a stranger is a beginning phase of starting to build a community, beginning phase to start building a friendship, or to at least understand we are in the same situation together. We're in this together. You know, we're not like I'm in this and you're not. Um, and so we have a hard time trying to communicate with people because we feel like there may be a threat. And we should not be threatened by each other as regular Americans, as citizens, just living our life in a daily way. We should all be able to get along, you know, and that's the separation right now is, um, well, it's bad. That's all I can really say. You know, you know, the more I just look at it and understand it, it seems like it just keeps getting worse. And I'm always pushing for it to get better. That's a solution. I'm pushing for solutions rather than focusing on the problems because we already know what the problem is. We're going to blame. We're going to complain. Even me. I'm going to blame and complain too and not agree with everything that's going on. And maybe I do agree with some stuff going on. So it's a matter of a common sense way of thinking. And kind of like the fundamental breakdown of that is communicating. To be able just to talk to people and not like in all domains of conversation. And that's why people say don't talk about politics, don't talk about money. You know, those are like taboo subjects. And you know, and there's a reason why, but there's also like 100 other domains of conversation we can have. The weather, you know, traffic, you know, things that we all have in common. And which is a lot, which is probably 90% of our living is we have something in common. It's maybe like the 10% of disagreement that we let take over and say that this other 90% of unification does not include me when it is inclusive. Being unified with everyone is inclusive to everyone. It's not just a certain group of people. And then that certain group of people having disagreements with the rest of the society in a sense, you know, and placing negative judgment on everything and anything that's around them due to this, you know, just a little bit of thinking that, you know, that little disconnection is is a big disconnection. When it's easy, when 90% of it is like we actually have a lot in common. We do. You know, we everyday life we have it in common. You know, the struggles, the successes. People are being very successful. You know, and that's a commonality too. You know, being encouraging to each other is something we can have in common. You know, supporting each other is something we can have in common. You know, understanding instead of trying to always be understood is, you know, important. And not saying anything at all when you know you can or you should express your personal opinion and you don't, then that kills the conversation. It doesn't. There is no conversation. People just don't want to have it because they think that 10% of disagreement affects everything else when it shouldn't. You know, we should still have 90% of our thinking in a common sense way of thinking and a mindset of how we're all going to get along. You know, and that 10% of indifference should just be there. I mean, it's something we have to live with. We're human. You know, we're not always going to agree on everything, but we can agree on most things. I mean, really, we just have yet to come to the conclusion that we are Americanteers and that we can solve these situations with solutions. really easy solutions.